Hello everybody, today I'm going to talk about English writing skill. This is one of the skills that everybody should have when they are learning English. And of course, we should talk also about learning English in academic situation. I mean, before we practice English writing in our workplace or job, we should use it for our daily life when we study it in university or school. Writing skill is important when we should write something, we should write an article, we should write a document, we should write a kind of letter. So we can use this skill for everything. What makes writing different from the others? I mean the other skills. Writing needs more attention to the grammar, to the spelling, to the punctuation, to the sentences that we created. So it needs more attention, it needs more patience to be successful. So we should understand why writing is important for English skill. And today I will break it down into some points. We start from the steps. So my point here is starting from the steps, one by one. What should we consider when we do writing? And then after that, I will explain a little bit tips about writing. All of the things that I talk in this video is based on my experience as an English teacher and edit with some materials from the internet. So I hope it will be helpful for you as a new learner or as an experienced person who learns about English. Okay, let's start from the first point, that is understanding the types of the text. As we know, in academic writing, we have so many types of text, and you can see here we have recount text, response text, narrative, poetry, procedure, discussion, exposition, description, explanation, and information report. If we don't understand the types of the text, the writing will be failed, because every kind of text has its specific things or features. It's why we can see the difference between one text to another text. And then we can also see that on the internet we have different types of writing also. We can have, for example, advertisement, business letter, fable story, invitation, job application, etc. So it means the first thing that is very important in writing is understanding the types of the text. We will start from here, then we go to the next if we already understand what is the type. Okay, the second point is about understanding the structure of the text. Let me take one example from the internet. I got a procedure. This is the writing that tells about how to do something. And from this example, we can see the structure of it. The first one is the title, and then the goal, the needs, the steps, and then check. And we have also the example about the writing about making lemonade, and you can see by yourself one by one. So I think this one is a little bit simple, but when we go to another text, maybe it will be more challenging, it will be more difficult. That's why we need to understand the structure of it very well. Okay, now the third point is understanding the suitable grammar when we do writing. As we know, we have 16 tenses in English, but on my example I only show you 12 tenses. The point here is every type of text has its own tenses. For example, when we write about procedure, the dominant grammar that is used is simple present. Or if we talk about a recount text telling about events that happened in the past, we can use simple past. But besides simple present and simple past, sometimes we can also add something based on the situation or based on the necessary things that we edit in the text. That's why the point of tenses here is the majority of writing. What grammar that we use, the dominant grammar that we use, or the suitable grammar. So be careful when you use it. Maybe we have to combine two different grammar in the text or more than two different grammars. So it's okay. But the one that I talk about here is the majority of grammar. Okay, let's start from grammar to another specific point. We have understanding the capitalization, spelling, and punctuation. Of course, when we talk about writing, we cannot avoid this thing. The first thing is how to use capital letter in the writing. For example, from the rules, the pronoun I is always in capital letter. And then talking about spelling, of course it becomes a problem sometimes for non-English speaker or non-native speaker, native person. For example, here we can see how to write pursue. Sometimes we forget if we should use U, not E. Pursue, the way we speak is correct, but the way we write is wrong sometimes. So we should check, for example, on dictionary or another resources to make sure that our writing is correct. And then we can use also our laptop or computer. Usually in the computer or laptop we have correction, grammar correction when we type about something. We can see different color of it. It can be green, it can be red, or another color. The point is, maybe we make a mistake about the spelling. So because of the technology, because of the modern life, we can use our tools, our gadget, maybe to check the spelling. If we are not sure, it's better to check on our resources. Okay, and then the third one is about punctuation. As we know, we have many different punctuations. For example, full stop, comma, hyphen, apostrophe, etc. We should understand and we should learn how to use it very well, especially for some punctuation that is not familiar. For example, the semicolon or ellipsis mark. The last step that we should do in writing is making a revision. Revision is very important because as a person, as a human being, we are not perfect. Even sometimes for an experienced writer, they will check it again and again about their writing. Don't make it like, no, I don't have to do a revision because I think it's already correct. According to my experience, when I check my students, I found that they make the same mistake again and again. If I don't point to the things, the mistake, they will not check it. So as a writer, in writing English, you should not feel bored about checking the writing, because a revision is the most important part in writing until we get the best result of it. Of course, it will give a benefit for us when we train ourselves again and again until we have a kind of habit, because writing is not only 1 or 2 times to do, but it is a regular activity to do until we can see our weakness and we can correct the mistake from it. Okay, and in writing it is very important to ask about the content deeper. For example, we can use some questions with, for example, which sentences don't make sense for us. We talk about the structure, about the content. If the content in the structure doesn't connect with our idea, or it is different one to another, we should rewrite it again, we should revise it. Or we can ask a question like this: which sentence should be added? Sometimes when we write something in the text, for example, we have a rule, one paragraph consists of 5 sentences, for example, maybe we have to change that, or we have to add something to emphasize something in the paragraph. So it is okay. So revising here is, I think, the most important part in writing English. So we can make it better and better until we can get the best result of it. I have some tips here, about 5 tips how to write English text. The first one is use short sentences to make it interesting. Just imagine you are the person who read the text, and what do you feel about it? If you see a long sentence, I believe that you will feel boring. You will feel it's not interesting because it is too long. But if we cut it, break it into some sentences, short sentences, I think it will be more interesting, and maybe the person who read it will not feel tired. So that's the point of writing a short sentence. The second, use different pronouns to represent the subject or objects. As we know, when we write about something, we try to avoid the readers to feel boring about something. And then we can use this way. For example, the name of person, we can change it into she or he, or if it is about something, we can use its, or we can use another word. For example, the name is Camilla. Camilla, we change that into the beautiful girl, blah blah blah. So it's okay as long as it is connected one to another and it is clear that it represents the previous word or the previous pronoun. Okay, the third point is use active verbs to make active sentences. It means you should avoid using passive sentences. I have ever read an article about this, but I think this is one of the good thing that we can do in writing English. We can compare when we write active sentences, what do we feel about it? When we change that into passive, what do we feel about it? So you can feel the difference. And I agree, if we use active sentences more, it will be, like life. The activity that we read is like smoothly run. And the fourth point is avoid using unnecessary words or repetitive words. Of course, we should avoid unnecessary words when we write. Sometimes when we have an idea, we write everything, but when we revise again, we see that some of the words are not necessary. So we can erase that, we can edit it. Or we cannot use repetitive words. We repeat again, especially the same point. Because we have structure, it means we cannot repeat the same point, except this is for the type of the text that is necessary to be repeated in case of conclusion. So if we should make conclusion, we can use a repetitive word, but not the same word. We try to change that with another word that the point is the same. Yeah. So let's go to the last part, that is avoid using contraction, because it teaches us to understand the usage of the correct words. Yes, sometimes as gadget users, we use the contraction words when we type about something. But in writing English, it is very important to avoid that. Why? Because when we type it clearly, the words, like for example, I'm become I am, it teaches us how to write the word very well, or the grammar very well. For example, I can be would, can be had. When we write it completely, of course, it gives us more confidence when you write about something, especially confidence in writing the grammar. So I think that's the tips for today. I hope you enjoy and you can learn something about it. See you next time. Bye.